I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin'Up here in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending some time with me. This is what I am sharing with you today. Now, it's a really simple, easy card. It showcases both sides of the designer series paper. What is this paper, I hear you ask? Well, this paper is from the new mini catalogue that's coming out next week with all the Christmas goodies in. This one is Winder Meadow, and I'll show you some of that in a minute. But really today is about showing you that you can take a simple card and not get too stressed with the making of it and turn it into a bit of a wow. So this is exactly the same card, just stepped up a bit with some different dies and some embellishments and just a little bit of stamping on the inside. But you can go from this really basic card, just card and designer series paper, a little bit of stamping on the sentiment, but that's it. And then really make it something well. So what I'm saying to you is, don't worry too much about the card. It's all the extras that you're adding to it that will take it to the next level. You can add lots of detail to your cards really simply with some dies, a little bit of stamping, and it's all those little details like using stitch dies rather than just plain rectangles, adding little bits of bling, different coloured inks on your stamps, doing images like this that are like two-step stamping, or adding some paper to the inside as well, or just adding the rectangle on the inside. It is a really nice way to add some detail. But I've added some paper as well that's from the front just to add that detail as well. So simple card. Is it really simple? I promise you it is. We're actually going to make two at once. Two basic cards, and then you can go away and add all your bits and pieces and make them your own. But very quickly, let me show you some of this very beautiful Winder Meadow designer series paper. This is the one we're going to make next. Absolutely gorgeous. It's got blueberry bushes in it. Just makes it pop off the page. Look at that on the other side. Love that. This is one that the card was made from, that I'm showcasing to you, and that's on the other side. Then you've got this one here. Look at that pattern. It's the same. These are 12 by 12 sheets. Lovely wintry scene there. I don't know if you can see that with the deer. Just absolutely gorgeous. So if you make any cards that need a scene on them, this is perfect for that. Just really lovely, lovely paper. Much better in person. With that one, it's got some trees running through it, and the other side is like that. And then you've got that one, and that is that. The other thing that I just wanted to show you from this card that I've been using is I'm going to use some dies, again from the new catalogue called Christmas Classics. This is the one that I used. When you die cut it, it actually comes out like this. Isn't that gorgeous? I did contemplate layering it white and silver, just turning it round once so that you've got the different effects, but decided no, keep it as simple as you possibly can. But there's all these lovely different foliage pieces in there as well. There's also this die, which is great if you've just got a lovely Christmas sentiment or something like that. And then again, it layers with that on the inside. So you see, like I've done on this one, I've actually cut this square out myself and trimmed it to give it an extra dimension. But with this one, you get the two dies that will do that. Look at that. Really lovely. Okay, so that's enough showcasing of new goodies that are coming just round the corner. Let's get on with this card making. Now, I promised you that we would be making two cards for the price of one, yeah? Two cards at once, so you can have a whole stack of basic cards, and then you can just get on with decorating them, because that's the fun bit, isn't it? Adding all your little tricks and tips, your different die cuts, your different sentiments, the different embellishments that you love the most. That is the bit that turns it into your card. Okay, so for our easy card making with two-sided paper, I mean, how's that for a long-winded title that makes two at once? We need 2 pieces of designer series paper, okay, that are 6 by 6, and we're going to use practically all of those designer series paper pieces up. So one is that pattern, one is that pattern. So if you made 2 at once, you could do one side and one the other, like I have. What I mean by that is this one has got this side on show, and this one has got the other side on show. See, you're making the same card, but it looks so different straight away. You also need an A4 sheet. Now, Stampin' Up are amazing at coordination. So I've literally just gone through and I've seen what colours are in my designer series paper, and I've picked out one that I think will really make it pop. So I've gone for Blueberry Bushel, and I've got a whole A4 sheet because we're going to be using most of that. And then I've got a couple of other things that I've used. I've used some rectangle dies on this. So I moved that over there. So the rectangle dies that are in the main catalogue come in lots of sizes. I love a layered die, and I love a bit of stitching on a die. So this just takes all the legwork out of it for you. You don't have to do anything at all. This is the one that I use on my inside. So there, that is the one that goes there. And then the 2 that are on the front are this one, which is the big one there, and then this one here. So they're the 2 that I've done for that. The other thing that I just wanted to tell you is this paper is not just for Christmas. I mean, this, look how beautiful that is. That could be a spring paper, any time of year really. You could also stamp on the top and add another colour. I might actually do that as well, just to make it even more different. So you're really making cards that are unique to you. Hopefully you've got those sizes, but they're so easy, you're not going to need too much. Okay, let's move all these out the way and let's crack on. So I've got my scorer and trimmer, okay, and I'm going to put the shorter end at the top of my A4 sheet, and I'm cutting it at 5 7/8. So the shorter end is here, and I'm cutting down the long side. Okay, at 5 7/8, which happens to be 14.9 centimetres. So if you're a centimetres crafter, it's 14.9. And then what you end up with is these 2 pieces, okay? Now this piece, used for all your embellishments on the front, all your different layers, anything really that you want. So just put that to one side. And this piece is going to become your 2 cards. So if you rotate that now, we're going to cut that in half. Now half is 5 7/8, which is amazing. So just cut it at 5 7/8 or 14.9 centimetres. And that gives you 2 pieces the same, okay? So those 2 pieces are going to make your card. So you take one of them, and it doesn't matter which side because they're both the same, and you are going to score it at 4.1, okay, which is 10.5. So make sure you've got your cutting blade right out the way. You're going to score it at 4.1 or 10.5 centimetres, and that gives you that fold there. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to do the other one at the same time because it makes sense to. And again, I'm scoring it, and that is your card done. I kid you not. Okay, just put that to the side. So you've got 2 cards here, just like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is add the designer series paper. So I'm just going to move these out of the way for the moment. Now this paper comes in 12 by 12, but I've cut it into 6 by 6 sheets. I just find 6 by 6 a bit more easier to manage and to store actually. I'm more likely to use it if it's 6 by 6. If I've got loads of 12 by 12 sheets, I'm a bit like, oh no, I don't want to cut into it just for that tiny little bit. Does that make sense? It's really silly, isn't it? But it's just something that I find. So 6 by 6, we're going to cut it at 4 inches. Okay, so 4 inches is just about 10 and 1 centimetre. So we're going to just cut it at 4 inches. Okay, so that's that piece. Now this is going to be your front panel. So you already know that your card is 5 7/8, so we're going to cut it at 5 7/8 because that will give us the right size. Okay, so that's that bit. You've got that tiny little bit. You can keep that if you want, or you just put it to one side. This piece that's left, you're going to do the panel for the front of the card here. So cut it at 1 1/2. Okay, so 1 1/2, and again you need to cut that at 5 6/8 because it's going on top. So 5 6/8, it's going on top. So that is that, and you've got this tiny little piece left. Okay, and that is what you're going to use on the inside of your card, and that needs to be cut, if you're using the rectangle size like me, at 2 1/2, but you might want to check your sizing before you cut it. And you've got that tiny little bit left, so out of the whole 6 by 6, just that tiny bit left. So if we do one of these cards, so there's our 3 pieces. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is add the big panel on here. So I open my card out, I put some glue on this folded over half. I'm just using Tombow glue because it's got a really good wiggle room. Now I could just stick that on, but what I like to do is make sure I've got it in the right place. So I put my paper onto this edge and just make sure that it's in line, top and bottom. Okay, this is hard doing it at an angle because I'm not right over the top of it. Okay, so there. So it's okay at the top, it's okay at the bottom, and it's just got a tiny, tiny little line along there. Oh, and it's moved. That's me talking too much. Okay, so just about there. And then I bring this side over to it so that I know that's in exactly the right place. Okay, done. Ta-da! So that's there. Then this piece, now I could do it that side, but what I want it to do is contrast. So I'm going to turn it over and put it there. Now because this is going on to Blueberry Bushel and it's got a white core, I don't like seeing that. And that again will add an extra bit of detail that only you know about, but it really will make a difference to your cards. So what I'm doing is going along the edge of the white core with a Stampin' Up marker. Now if you haven't got Stampin' Up markers, although why you wouldn't, I don't know, because they're beautiful, they're amazing, you can colour in your stamps with them. Just use whichever pens you've got and get it as near the colour, or pick out a colour that's in your paper. So if you've only got greens, use a green, it won't matter. You just need to take away that dark edge, which that way you wouldn't notice, but on here you would. I don't know if I've got a bit with white. Can you see there's like a white, let's put that up there. Oh, not good camera angles, but there's like a white core along the edge, whereas if you do that, it's a darker core. It just makes a whole lot of difference. Honestly, believe me, it does. And I'm putting some glue on this side, which seems totally wrong because it's so beautiful. But that just goes on your little panel there. These are the quickest cards. If you need a load of thank you cards or anything really, cards to carry around in your handbag and give out. I put way too much glue in it, spurting out everywhere. That's what happens when you've got a new glue bottle, isn't it? Okay, look at that already. That is so gorgeous. Really love that. This little bit on the inside, remember that piece I cut off? Okay, I'm going to put it that way up so that when you open it you can see some of the colour on the inside. Now I'm going to be careful because this glue is really runny. I don't want it to spurt out everywhere. Pick that up. And the 2.5 just fits just inside the stitching. So it looks like it was meant to be. Just like that. Okay, so that's just going to go inside. We are nearly done with our card. Okay. Ta-da! And then it's just the front. So I need to die cut from my piece here, one of the bigger ones. Okay, there's that one. So that will just get put straight on. This card is perfect for posting as well because there's not too many layers to it. So that's just going to go on there. And then for the thank you sentiment, which set did I use? I actually used the Timeless Arrangement set, the nice big thank you there. And I am just going to colour that with my stamping marker because it's handy as it's here. I'm just using the fat ends just to rub over the stamp. And as it's a polymer stamp, I can see right through where I'm stamping, which is very helpful. Ta-da! Just like that. And just to give it a little bit different, I'm going to higher that up. Just like so. Oh, sorry about that. I could feel that coming. I'm going to cough. So that just goes on there. Ta-da! Card done. Oh, drink. Okay, so with the other one, you just repeat it exactly the same, but this time you're going to put the paper that way round so that when you open the inside, all the pattern is on the inside. But that's it. That's how to make a really simple card, a basic fun card showing two sides of your paper, and you can dress it up or bling it up, whichever you like to call it, as much or as little as you want. But that is just so beautiful. I think it's the paper. Let me bring this one back in. So how did I jazz this one up? So on the inside I did a little bit of stamping on here. I used the new Magical Meadow set. I took the berry that matches and just coloured it with my Stampin' Right markers with 2 pens and stamped on the edge. The paper is this side of the paper so that it matches on the outside. And that's the inside done. Now the outside I used the big die that I showed you in the Christmas classic dies, layered it with some silver card, stamped a sentiment in the, this was Lost Lagoon colour, added some little gems. Oh, and the only other thing I did, can you see along the card there, just to make it all tie in, I did an extra layer of paper before I stuck down the designer series paper, and that just gives me a nice silver border all the way down. So, jazz it up, or leave it simple. The choice is yours. I actually really love this paper. So thank you for watching. I hope that's helped you think about your simple card making in a much nicer way. Simple is not boring. You can jazz it up, you can make it your own. It's all entirely up to you and what you've got in your stash. Thanks for watching. I hope to craft with you again soon. Bye.